Abraham from USCFootball.com, who joins us right now. Ryan, how you been, man? What's going on?
Mace, it's good to talk to you. I'm here in Las Vegas at a casino. It's a little loud. So
Which casino are you at?
Mandalay Bay.
Nice.
Well, you sound fine, Ryan. You sound good.
Yeah,
what
sounds
do you,
good.
Ryan? What do you remember about that year, that game when Matt Barkley took a knee, Rick Neuheisel called timeout, and then USC threw a touchdown? Was that game over as far as you were concerned when Neuheisel called the timeout?
Yeah, I think that was over. It's one of those situations where you're like, look, we're trying to just end this game, end the misery. You're gonna lose this game. And then if you're going to call a timeout, well, we're going to run a real play. And then that's what happened and scored a touchdown. So it's just one of those fun things of the rivalry. It just happens sometimes.
It was fun. I know I enjoyed it. All right, so I'm going to ask you the most generic question ever, Ryan. What does this season mean for Lincoln Riley and the USC football program?
You know, I think it means a lot, Mace. When you look at what happened at the end of last year and how bad things went, you have to go through an offseason where things need to get better. I think there was a lot of positivity during the offseason when hiring Danton Lynn, away from UCLA, sorry, John. But I would say that the moves that you made trying to make this team better and try to recover from losing the Heisman Trophy winning quarterback, a generational talent, and Caleb Williams, a lot of talk, but you need to show that you've taken the defensive side seriously on the field. And so I think that's why it's really important for Lincoln Riley. There's some fans that just aren't that happy with the way things have been going, and they want to see him going in a different direction, score a bunch of points like he's been doing, but also get some, play some good defense. So I think it's really important for him to show the fans, like, we can play on the defensive side as well.
Ryan Abraham joining us. Ryan, you're there in Vegas. They're going to play Sunday at 4:30, USC and LSU. Originally, LSU was a 6.5-point favorite. They bet it down. The fans all bet it down, so USC was only a 4-point underdog, and now it's back up to 6. How do you handicap the game on Sunday?
Watching the games for week 0, if you took points, you did pretty well in most of those games. I kind of feel like both of these teams have so many similarities. Just on the quarterback spot, Garrett Nussmeier and Miller Moss are guys that stuck around. They're kind of unicorns because they could have left and started somewhere else, and they stuck around, and they waited, and they were the backups. And then they get a start in the bowl game, and both of them played well. And I think there's some similarities there with, Brian Kelly being in his 3rd year, Lincoln Riley being in his 3rd year, both teams replacing Heisman Trophy winners, both teams having really terrible defenses. There's a lot of similarities between these teams. So if you're going to give me a touchdown, I would take USC in the points. My gut is just seeing what USC's done this offseason. I feel pretty confident they're going to be significantly better on the defensive side of the ball than they were last year. How much big of a step back do they take on offense with that core of wide receivers they have? And I think Miller Moss is going to be able to swing the rock around a little bit. I think they'll still have a top 5 kind of offense. I mean, the 8 years or whatever Lincoln Riley's been a head coach at Division I, he's had a top 5 offense every year except for one, and that was number 6. So it doesn't seem to matter year in, year out. They're going to score points. But if they can fix the defensive side of the ball like Danton Lynn was able to do with UCLA, I like their chances a lot this year. So I would take the 6 points in this one. I'm picking USC to win this one outright, but I don't think first game of the season, I don't think any outcome would shock me. But knowing LSU's lost their last 4 season openers, and USC's played more like tomato can stuff. They haven't played Florida State like LSU has. But I feel like they're ready in this offseason to go in and have a big showing. So that's why I think USC can win this game tomorrow.
Okay, I want to ask you about Miller Moss. We talked a little. I saw you a couple of weeks ago. We talked a little bit about this. I've only seen him play one football game, and that was last year in the bowl game. Who's he like? Like if you were to find a comp for Miller Moss, what can people expect?
It's hard. I would say like a Cody Kessler is a pretty good one. I mean, he's a really sharp guy, high football IQ. He's well liked by the players. I mean, he's won over the locker room, even when Caleb Williams was there. And I think when you saw him throw those 6 touchdowns in the Holiday Bowl, Caleb Williams was one of the most excited people in the whole stadium for Miller. He's got that kind of attitude where everyone wants to follow him. And it was really natural when Caleb Williams left for them to kind of shift to, okay, now Miller Moss is going to be the guy leading the charge now. So I think he's going to be sharp with the football. He's going to probably play within the construct of the offense. What Lincoln Riley calls, he's going to go through his reads and find a 1, 2, 3 guy, see if they're open, and if they are, get him the ball. It'll probably be less improv than we see from Caleb Williams, and he was one of the best to ever do it, where a play breaks down, he just figures out a way to make things happen. I think you're going to see Miller Moss probably stick to the game plan a little bit more, and if it looks anything like what they did in the Holiday Bowl, I think he's going to have a lot of success this year.
Ryan Abraham is our guest. Ryan, the first time I saw Zachariah Branch play, I went, that guy reminds me of Reggie Bush. He's got that kind of explosiveness. I probably overrated him, but what do you think of Zachariah Branch as he gets ready to come back and play again this year?
Yeah, he's the one that you're going to circle, and I think that's probably going to help some of his classmates. I mean, they have 4 sophomore receivers, John, that are just studs, where Jacoby Lane and Deuce Robinson, these big body guys, I think they're going to have huge years. And then Mekhi Lemon, I think, going along with it. But Branch is going to get a lot of the headlines. He's also going to do a lot of on the special teams as well. So I think you'll see him play the receiver spot, but also maybe line up in the backfield a little bit, returning kicks, returning punts. I think he could be that like a Dory Jackson kind of guy for USC, not that he's playing on the defensive side of the ball, but just is a gadget guy that can do a lot of different things, primarily at receiver. But I think he can help this offense a lot. And I think it's one of those things where Miller Moss, if things are in trouble, try to find where he is. He's not going to be the big body like a Jacoby Lane you can just throw up to, and a 50-50 ball he's going to get, kind of like the Drake London days. But Branch can find open space. I think you can get him the ball. And once he gets it in the open field, it's going to be really hard to tackle him. So I think he could be one of those guys that maybe leads the team in touchdowns, but he's going to score them a lot of different ways, not just with the receiver spot.
Now, I think Marshawn Lloyd was the leading rusher last year. He's gone. It is now Woody Marks, who's transferred in from Mississippi State. What do we need to know about him?
You know, he's one of the funniest guys you're going to talk to. He's coming from Mississippi. He's just like, he comes to Los Angeles. He's like, I can't believe all the food and all the people. And he's just such a great guy. He's someone that USC fans are going to really love to root for. He compares himself to a Reggie Bush kind of guy. He's very good at catching the ball out of the backfield, and I think you're going to see a steady dose of that from Lincoln Riley, and it's something where Miller Moss drops back. The first 2 guys aren't open. He knows he can dump it off to Woody Marks and make a big play there, but he loves to run between the tackles. I think he can be a guy with power. He can be elusive, and USC's had really good success having a guy like Travis Dye transfer in, Austin Jones, and Marshawn Lloyd last year. Veteran running backs have come in and really played a big role. I think Woody Marks is going to be next in line of those guys.
Ryan, last thing for me, I used to live in Louisiana, and I know how well LSU travels, but USC geographically is much closer. Do you expect this to be 50-50 crowd, more USC fans, more LSU fans? What do you expect?
I think it's going to be a 50-50-ish, but I'm here at the Mandalay Bay right now, John, and it is like LSU Central. I think this is the LSU alumni place, but LSU people have come here since like 3 days ago, where I know a lot of USC fans may be driving up today, but could be coming up Saturday or Sunday. So LSU is definitely here in full force right now. But I think for the game, it's probably going to be closer to 50-50. You know, USC fans are going to be coming here, but LSU definitely had circled this one for a while. They want to come here and experience Las Vegas.
All right. Hey, listen, Ryan, have a great time in Vegas. Really excited for the start of the season. We're going to try to talk to you on a weekly basis, if that is cool. Ryan Abraham, USCFootball.com. Next week is Utah State, so we'll talk to you after LSU, before Utah State. Ryan, thanks, man. Go Trojans.
All right. Thanks, guys.